Well, I'm here. The biggest gaming convention of them all, EVE 3. Not that I'm here for any of the lame gaming news or the dumb demos or anything stupid like that. You see, I'm here for the coolest thing of all, capitalism. But not like the real life kind of money of capitalism, you know? I'm a broke-ass college student. I have tuition and junk food to spend my money on. You see, I'm running low on weapons in Fire Emblem Awakening, and I want to buy the good stuff through people on StreetPass. Problem is, it's the year 2021, and the only people who carry their 3DSs on them anymore are the kinds of people who attend these things. So, yeah, StreetPass. Do any of you remember that stuff on your 3DS? That shit was the bomb. Awakening had some cool features using it. Whenever you would pass someone with your copy of the game, their team would be sent to your game. At that point, you can either fight their team or stimulate the economy and buy everything off of them. Personally, I never really got to mess around with the StreetPass stuff all too much because I joined the Fire Emblem Awakening club like 4 years too late, and on top of that, no one was carrying around their 3DS at that point. But I managed to beat the odds and get like 3 different StreetPasses. It was really cool to see different people's avatars and to see what kind of characters they decided to send you. But there's quite a bit more to this whole StreetPass thing than I think a lot of people might think. Whenever you meet another StreetPass team, the game will give you a few different options. Although it's nothing you wouldn't expect out of a system like this. What I really like though is that you need to think about what you're going to do with every StreetPass visit you get. If you get a really good StreetPass unit, they're going to be expensive as hell, so you got to decide whether you want to fork up the dough or risk it all to fight them so they'll join you for free. Or you could spend it by buying potentially late game items from them, which is really good in early game. Although weapons modified in the Forge do cost more than regular weapons. So you got to decide whether a seasoned tactician is better than a pointy stick, which is a hard decision, all things considered. I've heard literally no one talk about this, but some of these Street Pass options are really cool too. When you send your party out into the world, you also send this little business card thing with them. It's nothing special, you get a card that you can put some predetermined words to describe yourself with, but I think there's more here than I think anyone was expecting. Some notable words or phrases you can use to describe yourself are like total loser, upper crust craven, freaky, space alien, hunk, humanitarian, Mongolian, and finally whatever the fuck a bumpkin is. A few really stuck out more than the rest though. Like for a game that's rated T for teen, why is there an option to set your occupation as a grade schooler, huh, IS? Were you expecting children to play anime and McDating sim? I bet that's why they censored out Thardra's ass, because of the children. It also has IS's poor attempt to give the Fire Emblem fanbase a name. I present to you, the Emblemers. No idea if they ever tried to use this game again, but after a quick Google search, I want to say they dropped the idea in the trash. There's also this one thing about the cards that I think is really great, and I have no idea how they got away with it. There's actually a section where you can type something using an actual keyboard, and it doesn't have filters. You can write literally anything and have it be sent to any 3DS you come in contact with. The same applies for weapons you can rename in the Forge. While I'm on the topic of passes, the Spotpass stuff in this game is really cool too. IS really tried to go all out with this game when they thought it would be the last one. For one, there's a shitload of content here for what's supposed to be small little things you can download for the game. This stuff is just free DLC at this point. You got free maps with the chance to recruit units you realistically couldn't get in the main game. You got a whole bunch of weapons from other games in the series to use. You get a bunch of challenges to go up against featuring a lot of the playable units in the game for a co-op mode called Double Duel. And probably the coolest of all, you can effectively get 120 legacy units from all the previous Fire Emblem games. Really, they're just souped up versions of basic neutral allies with the characters' names, but the amount of detail that went into them is probably more than what anyone was expecting. Like, the items and teams each character comes with reflects the character's history. I forgot where I read this that made me realize it, but one of my favorite examples is with Lyn, where all the members of her team reflects Lindis' legion. Like, you got Kent and Sane, Oswald, Will, etc. The maps you can get are really cool too. I can understand why some people don't like them, since having characters like Emerlin or Wallheart just miraculously come back to life is pretty lame, but I've never really thought of them as canon. I always took their inclusion as IS's way to let people play as these characters rather than to, have good writing. Plus, it's pretty cool just to play as characters like Gangrel, the fucking freak. I feel like I gotta mention Priam's map too. While it's nothing out of the ordinary, just riding enemies on a nice looking cliff area, what sets this apart is that it's probably the hardest challenge you can get in Fire Emblem Awakening without forking over some money for the DLCs. To my knowledge, this map has the most units on screen in the entire game, with 50 enemy units and 30 of your own units. I always took this as the sort of final destination for Awakening. Nothing's really here but you, the enemy, and this little fort in the middle. This is like the ultimate test of your team building and strategizing skills you learned throughout the game. Or, you could just grind till your numbers are bigger than his. Now, I've talked about this shit for way too long. Let's see how many people I've gotten through StreetPass. My 3DS died. God damn!